About Zoomers, the Zooming people.
There's Allie, Melinda, Amy, Haley,
See,
Tara.
I want to do this so I don't have to look live. I want to know how to put my picture on there. So
I don't know how to do it either.
I don't either. Andrew's got it like that too. Yeah.
What are you trying to do, Leslie?
I said I want a picture of me like 20 years ago, like Amanda has on her picture. So when I get on Zoom, you see.
My photo is only 4 years old, and I need to update it. It doesn't even look like me.
Are y'all ready? I know y'all just got done.
Hey,
but
10 years
I'll
old.
be brief because I see like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, probably 6 people or more that don't need this class. So I'm not sure why y'all are sitting in, but if I say something, if I say something good, then that's great. So I am going to, did y'all sign in for everything? Because I'm just gonna give 2 of these books away. Do you want to sign in, and you can write those people in too, and then I think it's kind of a neat thing. So today I do not know just you. I saw you, but I don't remember your name. Josh. Okay. Yes. I use at the function at the party thing, right? Yeah. So I'm just gonna give y'all these out. You can read it here if you want. I'm gonna try to kind of cover these. It's just 20 things I've been trying to sit and think about. What could I share with somebody who is just getting in the business, or somebody who's been in the business and just comes and goes and hits and misses and that sort of thing to kind of get you going on it. So that would be everybody, right? And so the first thing that I always that I had to learn more than anything was focus. And if you have a task for the day on your calendar, you got to focus on that, and you got to keep your mindset. So I always tell people a couple of things. First of all, I know Amy wanted me to share a tiny bit of my story about I was at Coldwell Banker when I very first started real estate for about 18 months, I guess. And then I went to Century 21 for a very long time. And both of those companies in Paducah were the biggest. Those 3 in Remax were the biggest in Paducah at the time. They had lots and lots of agents, lots of seasoned agents, but nobody said, okay, tomorrow, here's what you need to do to start your real estate business. Here's what you need to do to make sure that you know what you're doing. It was just like, call the people you know, send cards out to people you know. Somebody calls you, wants to buy a house, there you go, you do it. But then what do you do with your check? What happens at the end of the year? All of those things nobody taught me for, I don't know how long I was at Century 21, 14 years, I guess, maybe. Next month is 25 for me. So I've been here 8 or 9. Have I been here? I was thinking it was 8. Anyway, so needless to say, before I came, I met Erlene and I were friends through the state and had done a lot of things together. She was showing me all these tools and different things that at that time was in e-edge. And I'm like, what is that? What, don't you have QuickBooks? I don't know what you're talking about. I thought that was for businesses. I just thought all of that was for businesses. So the number one thing that I learned once I came to Keller Williams is that you're a business. And if you don't treat yourself like a business, you're going to go out of business. So I always tell people, and this is so redundant, but it's just kind of maybe something to remember. If you went to work at, let's say, the courthouse, just say you got a job at the courthouse, and you went to work when you felt like it, or when you got done with the dishes, or when you got done with laundry that morning, or when you got done waxing your car, or when you got done mowing your yard, just because that's the things you had to do that day, would you keep your job very long? Anywhere? Basically, no. So in order to run your business like a business, you have to look at it in that fashion. The one thing I did learn from, and I always give this credit to Betty Higdon, I learned it from her pretty much day one, is get up the same time daily and get ready for work. And that's number 1 on your list. And that means set a time that you're going to do what you do before you start, and set a time what you're going to do at the end of your day, or whatever your day consists of after hesitate to say after working hours because that can be different for everybody. But the big thing is getting up and getting ready for work every day. Don't get up and sit around in your pajamas and do Zoom and all that stuff. Go ahead, get a shower, eat your breakfast, do whatever you got to do, get dressed for work. Because at any moment you could get a call, more so back in the day, have to run out to show a house, then you don't have to do that so much now. But you never know, and you don't want to have to go, oh geez, I got to get a shower, got to get ready. You know, you don't want to do that. Plus, you get in a mindset of work. So always that's my number one thing. Number two is debatable. Somebody want to comment on number two? Okay, so do what?
They used to tell you to dress professionally.
Yeah. Yeah, so I learned a long time ago through another business about dressing the part. And dressing the part doesn't mean that guys have to get up and wear freaking suits every day to go sell real estate. It doesn't mean that girls have to have their best dress on, their best suit on. It does not mean that. Usually in real estate, they will tell you dress one step above the person that you're going to see. So if you're going to show a farm, you obviously don't want to show up in high heels or dress shoes for guys, not dress pants, but you might not wear your dirtiest, fluppiest old blue jeans. And I mean, you know, you just have to put yourself in the place of who you know you're going to see. And I don't mean you're better than that person, but in order, this is a real pet peeve of mine for schools nowadays is, so all you people that have kids in school, I'm a grandma with kids in school, so just want to say my part here. And that is, I feel like a lot of respect left our school system when teachers started dressing like the children. And I know that they say it's a way to get the kids down to, you know, us down to their level, and they'll open up to us more and more. Well, I opened up fine when I was going to school. And I just think that if you don't see someone as a little bit authority or a little bit, why are you there? I don't think that you would go into a attorney's office and see them with, you know, t-shirt and flip-flops on if they had an appointment with you. I'm not saying they wouldn't always do that, but if they know they've got an appointment with you, they're not going to be dressed like that. So I'll get off of that. I'll get off of that horse. So I go on about that one, but I just feel like that.
That's won the award.
I did, yeah, twice, yeah. And look at me today, I'm blue jeans on. Yeah, the thing,
Above us.
yeah, I got a sweater on, so that's one step above. No, I'm just taking that.
I wore my black pants.
Oh, look. That's okay.
Well, Sally, I will have to say though, women especially should dress. I don't know the correct word used, but I would have a problem getting in the car to look at property if the woman was low cleavage, real
Yeah,
short skirt,
respectful.
and you know, not.
Yeah, dress respectful. But if you're dressed business-like, you're not gonna have that cocktail dress on. So, you might score a few points, but you're probably not with the bar, if the person's married or the girlfriend. You know, you had to choose your battles there. Okay, so choose your battles on that one. So, the third one is to follow a schedule daily. So, what I mean by this, you all know that Keller Williams is big on time blocking, and I hate it. I hate it so bad, but I do it. And in December, I kind of fell off a little bit because there was stuff going every direction, like it always is in December. But you know, what I always tell people about following your schedule and doing time blocking is, again, start at the same time every day. Break for lunch. I have that on there next. Break for lunch. I mean, you have to do that. You have to have some downtime or you're going to be crazy insane like most of us are. So when I say follow the schedule, I mean, follow the schedule. You know, there's nothing wrong with saying, I can't show you that house, or I can't meet with you to list your house at 12:15. I can meet you at 1, or I can meet you at 11 or whatever. Always give them a different option to do that. Are there exceptions to that rule? Absolutely. There's always exceptions to that. But as a general basis for your day-to-day thing, try to get up the same time, dress the part, and follow a daily schedule and break for lunch. So if you don't break for lunch, your mind doesn't break for lunch. And when I say break for lunch, try your best not to do it at your desk. If you are at your desk and you do have your food at your desk, do something else on your computer besides real estate. That, just do something that doesn't make your mind work for at least 30 minutes. If you're not a lunch person and you don't eat lunch, then go and walk, do something, read another kind of book that doesn't have to do with business, do something, but give yourself a break in the middle of the day. I mean, for lunch, I didn't put this on there, but also in the afternoons, especially if you're going to have a late evening and you know it, try to give yourself a break around 4 o'clock and just kind of decompress and, have a snack, do whatever. So that's a little bit about running your, and when I think about that with a business, I want to go back to, if you had a regular business, you would get a break. They're not going to make you work those last 4 hours without a break. It's the law. Well, we don't have that behind us because we're self-employed. So you got to build it into your schedule. And guys, if you don't write it in your calendar, you won't do it. If you don't put it in your phone, you won't do it. So put it in there every morning. This is what time I'm starting. This is what time I'm going to break for lunch. That can vary, obviously, with our business. It might be 1, it might be 2, whatever, but do try to make that break. I already said number 5 is end your day close to the same time. So the 6th one is something that I did not do even when I started KW. It took me about 2 years to actually go, I'm not making enough money to do that. But the truth was, I really didn't know what I was making because I was just mixing everything together. So the very first thing that you need to do, if you haven't done it already, is to set up a separate checking and savings account. Don't have a savings account that's for your vacations and such and such. That savings account is for your taxes. Okay, you've got to get used to, when you get that check, it's not all yours. Figure it out. You can do the math. You can get the math from somebody smarter than me, but you have to get part of that money and put it in your savings account for your business. If you don't, and you don't do stuff on the 15th throughout the year, at the end of the year, you could be writing a big, fat, ugly check that you have spent money for. And you don't have that money anymore. So just learn from the very beginning. I did not, and I did have to write that big, ugly, fat check out of my personal savings account because I didn't do the right thing. So if you hear anything today, hear that. Separate checking, separate savings for everything. And do not pay one single thing out of that checking account that does not have to do directly with the business. So make sure, and sometimes, there's been times that I've had to, for whatever reason, if it was the only checkbook I had or whatever, and I was backed in the corner, I got to do this, I would always go back and transfer from my business back to my personal, if I indeed had to do that. Had to do that with a credit card one time because I couldn't find my business credit card. I don't think I have this on here. Do all of you have a business credit card that you use just for real estate? You need to get one. You need one that you do not put one thing on that credit card that doesn't have to do with your business. So a long time ago, 20 years ago, I guess, I got a Capital One credit card. Nothing goes on that credit card unless it has to do with real estate. And it helps you so much. And I'm not pushing for Capital One. I don't work for them or anything. But at the end of the year, around mid-January, I guess, after the year is done, it should be coming up pretty soon. They will actually send you this thing in the mail, or you can do it online. And it will show you everything that you did because it recognizes, was it a restaurant? Was it this? Was it that? And it'll be broken down into gas, restaurant food, all that sort of thing. There's a chart of accounts in your MREA book. And I would highly suggest that if you don't have QuickBooks, that you get the simplified QuickBooks, set up your chart of accounts like it shows in the MREA. You aren't going to need them all. There's no need to wrestle with what's in there. Just put them in there and go, because if you try to figure it out, you'll spend too much time. So I do somewhere. Sorry about that. I forgot that they weren't laying back there. So the business credit card is very, very important, and it can save you a lot of times by what did I buy? Did I write a check? Did I pay cash? Try not to pay cash for anything. Nowadays, back in the day, if you gave McDonald's a credit card for your $3 bill, they would look at you like, really, you don't have $3. And now they look at you, if you hand them $3, like, really, you don't have a credit card? I gotta go to this machine to ring you out because you gave me cash instead of a credit card. So you can do anything with a credit card now. So try to use that credit card and pay it off every single month. Don't put more on there than you're gonna be able to pay off that month if at all possible. Things happen, I understand. Maybe one month you have a lot of stuff that comes in, signs, memberships, whatever, that sort of thing. But do your best to pay that card off, every single month, and not to take from other cards to pay it off. If you have to take something to pay it off out of your checking account, pray that it's in your savings. Okay. So that's just, does anybody have questions about that? Because I don't want to be unclear. No. Okay. So, and then number 7 is to meet with the CPA always. I have no idea your situation. You don't know mine. Married, kids, no kids, single. I mean, it's just all over the map. So make sure that you meet with the CPA. When I first started with Keller Williams, that was told to me. And I'm thinking, a CPA is a lot of money. I mean, I'm going to pay him just to do whatever. And then I had to turn the tides around and think, what do people pay me for? They pay me for my knowledge and what I know and what I can do to help them and so forth. So you always need a CPA. Usually that's based on how much work you have them to do, how much income you have, how many W-2s, whatever, all that stuff is that you have. But that's one of the best things that you can do. And that should be started as early as possible. If you have already started your business and you haven't done that, just do it. Just add that to your to-do list, not too far into the year. Go ahead and get that started. And then this one I just threw in there because I didn't know it for a very long time until one of my friends at Century 21 had an accident with a client in their car. Does everybody have KW on your car insurance? Are we still required to do that? We are, aren't we?
Yeah, you should have a business. You should have a.
You should have a rider on your car that you drive that includes Keller Williams Experience Realty.
Right, that includes that you're in a business.
Yeah. So check with Ben or Linda or somebody about that. But the
Explain
person,
what you mean by that, have
Yeah.
KW on your card as a
But you knew that.
beneficiary?
no,
What is
no,
that?
as like a extra rider of insurance
Business
coverage.
rider.
A
No,
business,
it's a
yeah,
business
maybe it's a business rider. You can check with your insurance. I use State Farm. And so when I get my bill, Keller Williams is listed on there as if I'm doing Keller Williams business out of that vehicle and I have an accident, that person can't sue Keller Williams. You see what I'm saying? You don't see what I'm saying?
I'm not following because I don't pay our insurance. When I had my Jaguar, I had it as a commercial vehicle. I paid commercial insurance. It was all commercial. This car, the replacement car, I did not do that. And I just wasn't following. I was acting as my husband.
Well, ask your insurance agent, but ever since forever ago that I've had my license, you were supposed to have your company as a rider and insurance, right? Do you do that? No, we need to check because that's pretty important.
I
Maybe
think I asked my insurance and they said it wasn't necessary because I'm not taking people in my car.
well, if you do though. I mean, nowadays we don't do that as much
Yeah,
as
they
we
ask
did
you
before the dinosaurs.
Yeah.
We put people in our cars and we picked them up at their house. I
Right.
mean, yeah, so I mean, it was
And the only
more
time
important then.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the only time that it would come into effect is if you had an accident with a client in your car and they got
Right.
hurt,
Okay.
which is what happened to my friend in Century 21. And it was really ugly because he didn't have Century 21 on that on his insurance coverage. So
So when you say right, are you talking about like an actual plate also?
no, it's just an insurance rider,
see.
just like you have extra riders on your car,
Like an
homeowners,
umbrella policy?
sort of.
You know how you have to do a personal property rider if you're gonna sell your own house?
Yeah.
It's just like an additional.
I'll double check with them. But
Yeah,
I'm not gonna ask.
It would be like if you have a swimming pool, you gotta have that,
Yeah.
that sort of thing, but on your car insurance. And check with your insurance company. If they say, if you have a person in your car and you have an accident, don't worry, we're gonna take care of you, then great.
Okay.
And I may be a dinosaur. We may not have to do that anymore, really, because I don't even put people in my car very much anymore, but I do occasionally. So there's times that you go to a hotel, the people flew in and you pick them up at the hotel and you take them to see property. So that's a long way. I'll make a little note
I'm
Buy
like,
this
"Put your
one too?"
rental car."
Yeah, honestly.
Do what?
I said, just get the rental car.
Yeah, follow me in the middle part, yeah. And then you have someone who doesn't drive. I've had that happen
Yeah.
before, and the lady, she had no other way than to go with me in my car, and that was just a couple of years ago. How many of you do have a QuickBooks system or a system that you follow? Okay, do you run your P&Ls every month? Do you look at your P&L statement? That's really important. I just learned that about 3 years ago, and Linda pushed me till I did it. And I'll tell you, looking at it in January and going, oh geez, I shouldn't have done whatever. And looking at it January, February, March, April, all the way through the year, and kind of seeing, what did I spend on food? What did I spend on gas? What did I spend on client gifts? Because sometimes, we have a budget in our head for that, but we have a tendency to go over it if you don't see it in front of you every day, especially when you get really busy and you're buying lots and lots of stuff, and all of a sudden you look at that P&L, you go, oh geez, I really didn't make that much money this month as I thought I did, because I overspent here or overspent there. In the MREA book, there is a percentage in there also, how much percentage should be advertising, I don't have those memorized. I hate numbers, so somebody else about that, but they are there and they're very, very helpful. So I'm not looking at you guys very much, am I? I'm sorry, I'm done this way. Y'all get to see the good side of me, I guess. So number 10 is learn how to say no. And if you put a star beside anything in this day and time, put a star by that, because as we age, and all you young professionals don't know this yet, but as you age, things happen, and they can happen in 1 second, and you have to deal with a family situation or some sort of situation. You have to be able to say no. If you know that you've got to take someone to the doctor at a certain time on that day, and they want to see that $1 million house, use your best judgment. Okay, I'm just going to say use your best judgment. But most of the time, if someone only has one 15-minute increment that they can see something, they're not serious anyway.
Right.
So try to do yourself a favor and don't run yourself down like myself and Erlene and some of us who've had our license 20 plus years. We ran ourselves down because we did not know how to say no. We were afraid to say, no, I can't go. No, I can't do this. No, I can't do that. That you can even say no to the title company, to the attorneys, to the banks. If they send you a message out and says, we need, buyer needs to have this closing at 2 o'clock. You can say, is this okay with your sellers? Well, it's not okay with me. I have an important, I've got to do this. Could we have, they usually can move it. So don't just concrete your head around, I gotta be there at 1 o'clock for my client. No, work with people. And if you don't ask, they won't do it. But that's something I didn't learn for a long time either, is to, your time is important as much as everybody else's. And if you're missing something that's very critical to you, you're going to beat yourself up for it for days. So try to get in on the front end, young people, and make that no a big, big part of your life in all aspects of your life, whether it's friends, family, whatever it is. Make no a really big number in your life. That's my life lesson today. Okay. So account for your mileage daily. How many do that? Okay. So if you don't do that, do you just drive one vehicle and everything in that vehicle is real estate? Every single thing. You never get in it and go to Walmart.
It's real estate.
Okay. It's a real estate Walmart.
For sale sign.
Real estate to the gym.
Real estate, it could be.
Fine at the gym,
It could be. You could run into people at Walmart and talk real estate, But what I do, and if you don't have a designated vehicle, which I do not, I refuse to do that. But if you do, that's great. But if you don't, try to every day write down your mileage. Now, some people write down their mileage in January, and then they look at it in December, and they try to think, okay, let's subtract 2,000 miles. That'll get it. It just takes getting audited once. And I know someone who's been through that. You will write it down in your planner every day or wherever. You guys don't use planners. I know. Okay. So
Smile like you.
all of those fun things, it's great. I can't do it. But, I still get paper. So in my day planner, at the bottom of each day, you'll see 39, 25, 37, 120, what, you'll see the little numbers with circle. At the end of every month, I add them up and I put a big number in that. So that when it's December, like last year, I could go back through and add all those big circles and that's my mileage.
So if they audit you, how they gonna prove it wrong?
Don't play that game.
No, I'm just asking. It's a
They
legitimate
will
question.
ask you to see a log.
Yeah.
Make a
Mileage
law.
log.
No, they could ask you for a mileage log. I don't know anybody that it's happened to recently, so maybe they have better things to do
So
nowadays.
I'm just
but-
asking if what you're doing proficient. If you
Oh,
are.
yeah. Because I can prove, I mean, mine's more sufficient than yours probably, because I've written something down by hand every single day, and you're just saying everything in this truck is real estate. And they'll go, oh, well, you were fishing, we saw you go on a boat. What could that happen? That's not gonna happen, but I don't want to get in trouble with the IRS, so I try to do what I feel is comfortable for me. That's everything. You can do whatever, but they can ask you for a mileage log, and if that's on your phone, then great. Have it be on your
So
phone.
you have QuickBooks, QuickBooks has
Yes,
mileage in there too, like full track mileage.
And
Yeah.
it's really provable because it's literally like will show even the route.
The route
you
that
took.
you went.
yeah. Mine
And
doesn't
that's
do
what-
that.
that's-
I would have to draw it.
You
You know,
can say if the drive is personal or business, you just. like,
Oh,
one way
okay.
or the other.
okay,
Um,
good, good. I have to do it by hand, and so, you'll notice on a lot of my days I had zeros. Because if I sit at home and I'm working from home and I don't use my car, I'm not using my car.
The nice
So-
thing about it on the mileage here QuickBooks, it tells you the amount that you expect that you'll have in return back.
Yeah, it's worth like this was driving
Yeah.
$17 or
Yeah.
whatever.
Just as long as you have something and you keep up with it for your taxes,
Yeah.
because that's something that you need for your taxes at the end of the year. And it sounds like most of you have that under control. The next one is a business plan, and I hate doing business plans. Absolutely hate it, but do it. Do it. If you don't know how to do it, don't ask me. Ask somebody else. But I just copied from the year before and changed my number, basically. So I can't teach that class. They didn't have me teach that class on purpose. So, just try to get a business plan. And what that does for you, it helps you to go by the end of the year, this is where I'm hoping to be. By checking your P&L month after month after month, you can see where you are with that plan. Your goals are not all about how many houses you sold. Your goals are going to be about dollars in the long run, and dollars require taxes. And that's why I'm such a stickler about, please try to keep up with what is taxable. That's why I really want y'all to think about the business credit card, because the business credit card is very important. So when you go to a KW function, I swap that thing, everything I do. And I don't have to worry about keeping up with it because it's all in one place, and I don't use that card other places. I already told you that. Okay. The business plan, again, I just want you to have one. I want you to get with somebody, a mentor, Ben, Linda, Dora, somebody that can help you with a business plan. It isn't 20 pages long. Mine's about 5 pages. So it's not hard. It's just, I can't help you with it. You don't want mine. It's not as clear as most of you. It's like a lot to do. Number 13 is block off family time daily. And that doesn't mean having supper while you're checking your emails on your phone, or taking your phone calls while you're having supper, or while you're having lunch, or whatever. I have started, as I've gotten older, again, this may not appeal to you guys, but no phones are allowed at our table, and we eat together. We eat together every night. And is that possible for everybody? No, there's times that I can't be there, but if I'm in the room and we're having supper, breakfast, lunch, whatever, together as a family, I do not have my phone in that room. If I have something crazy that's going on and I know I gotta watch my phone, I will do it, but it has to be a real big exception. So husband, wife, best friend, mom, dad, whomever that is, at the end of Saturday night, I want you to be able to look back all the way to Monday and think, I'm still working. I'm still having business. I'm still listing houses. I still had closings, and I still ate lunch with my mom once. or I went and visited my friend, whatever. Just make some time for that, guys, and you will never, never regret it. I promise you, you won't. I could give you instance after instance, but then we would have a crying session, and I don't really want to go there. But yeah, you know, you really, really will reward yourself at the end of the week if you can look back and go, I made it to Saturday night, and I did it. You know, I didn't disregard anything. Also, know if you have a family emergency and you have to be gone for a week or 2 weeks or whatever, it's okay. It's fine. That's what we're about. We'll help each other. There's nobody that you can't call. My mom's having open heart surgery tomorrow. Didn't know what's going to happen. Don't know when I'm going to be back. Can you help me? Absolutely. It may be 5 or 6 different people juggling your people around, but it will get done. And that is the most satisfying spirit that I can tell you about Keller Williams is whenever those emergencies come up, and I've had them, and you've had them. If you haven't, you will. I know my preacher always says you're either just coming out of a storm, getting ready to go through one, or just, you know, going down the hill. So it's one of those 3 places you're going to be. And one of those 3 places is the same. It's not going to change if you sell 3 more houses. You still might need to be with that sister or that aunt or whomever. So don't let that overshadow your business. We do that sometimes because we think we got to hurry up and make money. So I'll try not to go off on that tangent again. And then on number 14, I put 4 times a month. That may be a little much. You might want to say 2 times a month. At least do it once a month. But block some time off that's just you, not you and your somebody else, but just you. If that's the spa, if that's shutting your door and getting a book and cuddling up with a blanket, if that's what you do that. It can be on Sunday. It can be on Saturday. It can be at midnight. I don't care when it is. It could be. But have some you time throughout the month, because if you don't, you're going to burn out. You're going to get tired. Your body isn't going to handle the things the way it needs to handle. Your brain is going to be spent, and you're going to be like, dang, you know, I could have read for an hour. You know, I could have, God forbid, watch a TV program. Does anybody watch TV much anymore? Ooh, okay, that's it. I can't find, well, if you have Netflix or something like that, that's totally different. But regular TV is not good for you anymore. Not good for kiddos either. So I think I'm on 15, and this is keep a calendar and review it on Sunday. So whether your calendar is on your phone, on your laptop, or like me on a date planner, every Sunday, give yourself like 30 minutes. Go grab that or pick up your phone and look at it and make sure that you know what your day is like, that you go, oh shoot, I forgot I had that doctor's appointment. Don't wake up on Thursday and go, oh my gosh, I have a doctor's appointment at 9 o'clock. Then you get in a frizzy and you go every which direction. So on Sunday, I always tell people Sunday, it's kind of downtime for most people. Sunday at some point, review your calendar for the upcoming week, not the month, not the year, just the upcoming week. And make sure that you've got everything where it needs to be. Because I'm old fashioned, I have to put it in my phone from there. So that's what I do. I'm sitting there on Sunday night, putting it from my calendar into my phone. Because my paper calendar doesn't ding and make noises, and my light doesn't flash and all that. That you missed an appointment. And that happens too. But that's something that will help you wake up on Monday and not be thinking, what's to do today? Oh my gosh, what's tomorrow? What's Thursday? What's this? What's that? You've got it. You've got it in your head a little bit, and you've reviewed it. So I know that a lot of this is like personal ways to do things, but it does affect your business. And it's things that I'm sharing with you that I never did until probably 10 years ago. So for probably 10 to 14 years of my real estate business was totally by this part right here. I mean, I was just flying around wherever it went, whatever day. I mean, I had no direction whatsoever. And if you're going to treat your business like a business, you have to be a business person. So just remember that. And I know you hear that all the time. How many of you, and this I wrote on number 16, this can vary. How many of you pay yourself? Good. If you don't pay yourself, that's why you need a checking and a savings account. You can take capital draws, is what I do, or owner draw or something. Is that what it's called?
Owner distributions.
Okay, something like that. So set up in your head what do you need to make it, for a month, if you had to pay yourself, 4 checks? And if it's not there, then you're gonna have to go somewhere else to get it, and that's okay, but bring it in, but I always try to replace it. Sometimes I forget to pay myself every week, and so sometimes I do it every other week. I'll make, a journal entry and pay myself, and then I pay my personal bills and that sort of thing. But if you ever want a wake-up call on how much money you're netting, that's it. That is really, really big to pay yourself. Again, I'm not a numbers person, so I can't tell you percentages or what that should be. Sit down with your personal finance person or someone in our business that does it and see how they figure their parts, because everybody's going to do that different. But I really would urge you, if you're not doing the checking account, the savings account, the credit card, and paying yourself, if you're not doing those 4 things, you don't have a business. Because when you put your money in where your groceries come out, then how do you know where your money went for business? Yeah, you can look at it with a check, but when you have a chart of accounts and you have a P&L statement, you can see it really, really fast. And that actually will help you in the long run more than it hurts right now to say it and to think about it. But the sooner you do it, the better you'll be, because there were many, many times, first in real estate, by the end of the year, I made $13,000. I'm like, seriously, I made this much and I only netted 13. What was I thinking? What was I doing? Where did my money go? I had no idea, because I had QuickBooks. I just said, here's all my stuff to my CPA, and he handed me this. This is how much you got to pay, and this is how much you made. And I'm thinking, I know what my 1099 said, and it sure wasn't $13,000, but net, that's what I ended up with. So when you see that, you get a wake-up call. Am I doing something wrong? And I definitely was doing something wrong. And that's why I kind of had to regroup and understand you got to treat your business like business.
Real quick, are you an LLC?
I am not. And I knew somebody was going to ask me that.
I'm sorry.
I'm going to say, use your CPA's judgment on that. My CPA is not a fan, and she has several reasons why. Some CPAs are, and they have several reasons why. Real estate attorneys that do stuff like that will tell you to do it. I would say use your own judgment. I don't think it's a 100% thing. If you have other people under you, if you have a team and those kind of things, you probably really need it. But as a solo agent, I'm not sure, but it doesn't cost $30 or something. So it's not that big a deal. But here's the thing, what my CPA told me. By the time you open a by the time you open an LLC and you do all of the transaction numbers that a CPA has to do with the LLC, your regular stuff, this, that, and the other, you're going to cost more money paying her to do that than you would to have the LLC. I don't have the answer, I promise, but I'll try.
So when you said you pay yourself, are you paying yourself or running payroll?
I'm paying myself.
So you're not doing the pay, so you
No.
don't give yourself a
No.
W-2.
No,
No, it's just a distribution.
no, you can. Yeah, you can do it. If you're LLC, you do. I don't, just because it's just me.
That gets confusing to me if you're not a business LLC.
Well, to do
I
payroll.
understand how it works, taxes and. You know, you can do it.
Well, I know, but us clubs are like.
That makes the best way to do it.
It
There's a bunch of options, and what you're saying is exactly right. It depends on what your CPA and your attorney and who's says. We did the same thing. We created a family trust. We don't have that much money, but we felt like we needed to do that for our protection. And there's attorneys in town that are taking the trusts apart because they think that it's foolish.
Right.
So it all depends on what works. Our CPA guides us in one way, and they guide, tell us to do other things too. So it all depends. What I did before I was an LLC for my pay myself first is I just simply had a transfer going in for an X amount of dollars into my personal account, which was my home household account. Just every month, the first of every month, I just knew. And I did the same thing with my tithes and everything else I do that we don't think about it.
Yeah, I do the same thing. I usually do it every other week. I usually do it twice a month and put something in there. But because I'm not an LLC and I don't use payroll, it's an owner's draw.
Okay, so
It's
it's not
basically
really,
what it is.
it's not really a tax advantage then, like you're still paying the same amount of independent contractor
No
tax.
tax
Yes.
advantage, but it-
There is no tax advantage.
It keeps you
Absolutely.
organized without feeling like you're working all the
Yeah.
time without ever having any money because your money's going straight to your business.
Right.
Or you become a
Okay,
type
so-
one and you just don't get.
Well, I don't have those yet. The number 17, might be ready for that. You may be down the road for it later. You're welcome. Thank you for that.
Doctor's appointments. So.
Is meet with a financial planner. Financial planners are not like attorneys. They don't charge you for the hours or 30 minutes or 15 minutes that you're there. So just because you meet with a financial planner doesn't mean that you got to start giving them money. But trying to meet with somebody, you know, I use Edward Jones. A lot of people use Raymond James. Some people use their bank has a trust department or a financial department, and they use someone in the bank and help them with that. But that is where you are able to, I wish she was still here. That is a way that I get around a lot of my taxes.
Yeah.
And that's how, when I woke up and saw that I had worked 12 months and barely made $1,000 a month, I was about to puke. I was like, seriously, you only did that? So it's because I didn't have an IRA, I didn't have a SEP account, I had nothing. I didn't know anything about that stuff. So when I finally found out about that and was able to put money in there every check or every month or something, then that way my IRA built up, my SEP built up. And so when my taxes come in, that was sheltered from taxes.
That's
So
what, I have a money market account.
yeah, money market.
So I don't have like a account, I throw it in the money market.
Yeah.
For taxes.
Yeah, yeah.
So I like right now, I know what I have. And
Right.
I know it's gonna cover it.
Right. So that's different on everybody too.
Yeah.
So money markets are good. I have on here to always pay your quarterly taxes. If you don't know when those are, it's January 15th, April 15th, September 15th, December 15th, right? Isn't that the 4? And when those days start getting close, you need to think, have I had closings? Do I need to put money away for my taxes? I don't think you actually have to pay
I
quarterly.
take the penalty
You-
every year.
Yeah, you can pay,
I take
yeah,
the
you
penalty.
cannot pay your quarterlies that have a little bit of a penalty.
Yeah, you'll get a penalty.
My penalties were too much. I don't like giving any of that money away. So I have my financial planner. She has a thing in her notes that she needs to call me, like 2 weeks before the 15th. And I also put a thing in my phone. It's time to put your quarterly taxes in, it's a, get your thing, write the check, send it off.
I should
No.
probably start doing that.
I did,
Yeah.
I did that this year. It was really good.
It's so good. It's so good. So when you get to that place, you may not be to that place yet. But just remember that quarterly taxes will come back and bite you in December,
Yeah.
and you're gonna go, I don't have the money to pay that $20,000 taxes that they're asking me for. But if I would have paid $4,000, every quarter, and I wouldn't have owed so much at the end,
And
at the end.
for spending as much too, because
It
you
does,
realize you're
yeah.
taking that money out.
Yeah, you don't realize it. And that's all the whole thing about planning and treating yourself like a business instead of like you have a job at the Dairy Queen and you just go blow it on shoes or.
It's like when you said you only made $10,000 a year, it's because you had to put so much for taxes, so much for, all your expenses and things like that. It wasn't like you weren't making.
No, at the end of the day, and it was disgusting. Yeah,
I listened to.
so I think I'm getting close to 2:00 and I don't want to keep y'all over, but number 19, I sort of covered this already, but I didn't really cover the not part, and that is to turn your phone off. By 8 or 9, you young people, that might be 10. For me, it's 9. At 9 o'clock, my phone goes to nighttime and it leaves me. I do not sleep with it. I know you got to sleep with it by your bed that's the way you get up in the mornings. But I would suggest if you're doing that, get an alarm clock. Seriously, because you will look at it as soon as you get up in the mornings. So if you turn it off, not off, but if you put it on silent and put it somewhere else and go to bed or watch TV or be with your friend, whatever you got to do at 9 o'clock, I can't call my CPA at 11 o'clock at night and ask her a question.
Right.
I can't call her at 7:45 a.m. I have to call her at 8 o'clock or after. You gotta treat yourself like a business. You're a business. You're not open 24/7. As much jokes as there are about real estate agents, they're open 24/7. And I don't care to say who this is. Chris Griffin. He's in Paducah. I guess his dad was a realtor with me at Century 21 years ago, and he's in the mortgage business now. And I had to laugh. I think it was, I don't know if it was Thanksgiving, Christmas, or New Year's. I don't remember which one it was. And I said, Chris, no. I mean, I texted back. I go, do not send that to anybody else. He sent out a thing. I'll be here the whole holidays 24/7. If you need me on New Year's Day, or whatever that holiday was. Not that. Oh no, don't tell people that because they'll do it. You know, don't do that to yourself. So don't ever do that. I mean, yeah, you got to work Saturdays and Sundays sometimes. That's what I'm saying. But don't advertise that you're a 24/7 realtor. Because if you are, you're not really doing yourself justice. You have a time that you start, you have a time that you end. You'll work with people by appointment only. That's kind of what I tell people. I'm not just a door that just sits there and you can come and go when you want. We don't have that so much now in this day and age, but there was a time that it was like that. So try to give yourself nighttime sleep too. It's the best way to keep your body healthy. Number 20 is turn your phone on. I already said that. So when you get up in the mornings, if you get up at 6, try not to look at your phone. Go do whatever you normally do. Do you work out? Do you have coffee? Do you get your kids to school? Do you do all that? Nothing is going to happen before 8 o'clock business wise that can't wait till 8 o'clock. Now, if your phone is on and you glance down and your mom or your sister or your pastor or your next door neighbor has texted you like 5 times, call me. Well, yeah, you're going to call them. But I'm saying I get text messages at 6:40 and I'll go, I'm not answering that. It's 6:40. I'm not at work yet. You know, so kind of get in that frame of mind of your time. And I think that you will, I think that you'll have a much better success as a real estate agent than us old timers that come up and did everything. Of course, we have cell phones and we had to stop and use business phones to call people for directions. MapQuest, you had to print it out. Who's put that on Facebook the other day? Did y'all? No, it was my son. He was over and he goes, Mom, I have a question. How did John know how to get places before GPS? I was like, are you kidding me? I said, well, MapQuest, and before MapQuest, it was a map. A map? You might got a map and looked at that. Yeah, you so bad that you didn't know.
You was look at the map and number 1, 2,
Yeah.
3, 4.
Said, I'm here. I have no idea where I'm at. Get me to where I'm going. And that was from a payphone because you would have had to go to a payphone or a business to have called her because you couldn't have called her from your phone. So see how lucky y'all are. No, seriously. Seriously, if I hope that you take away anything at all from the hour that you've let me spend with you, it would be thinking about your business, like a business, getting up every morning, getting ready for work, beginning at a certain time, don't let people interfere, ending at a certain time, don't let people interfere, give me time and give family time, and community service time. If you do that, you know, always allow some time in the month or every other month or something for that. You'll be a better person and you'll feel better on the inside and it will come out on the outside if you do that and help yourself. So my hour's about up. I would be glad to ask questions. I probably may or may not know
They
the
have
answer.
any questions on this?
Oh, there's still Melinda and Amanda and what in the world? What does she say? Oh, never mind. These people still on there? Allie, do any of y'all have questions for me or comments that would help other people in the room?
I don't have any questions.
You're gonna soon be sitting. I have to set your phone because that baby's gonna wake you up. 3 a.m., 6
I'm gonna be
a.m.
waking all y'all up in the at
I
5
don't know
a.m.
you calling us. I
Yeah, I would say on the LLC question, just be sure to ask your CPA, like Leslie said, because my CPA tried to get me to do it, you know, before I did. And the year I did, I saved a ton in taxes. So it all depends on, you know, every situation is different. So just talk to your CPA.
I just formed a LLC just recently, starting January 1st, just because for protection more, because we're having this other business start too.
Right.
And it was recommended legally to make sure if we got sued with that, it wasn't going to go through all of our
Yes.
stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess
Yeah.
someone could, but you know.
I do have a question. I have been looking for a new accounting system. Is there anyone that's just simple that works on, that's not an online one. I don't want to have to pay every single year.
Are you talking like a QuickBooks type of thing, but not that?
Yeah, because QuickBooks, used to, I had QuickBooks on my computer.
As a desktop.
And it was a desktop. You didn't,
Yeah.
you know, you might have to do an upgrade every once in a while, but you didn't have to pay for it.
Well, I'll tell you, if you get your QuickBooks through your CPA, the good thing about that is they can come on and take your screen and take over your computer and get all the stuff they want, and you are done in 30 minutes. They do taxes. So if you have QuickBooks, most CPAs use that, or whatever they use, try to use the same thing. I think my QuickBooks is maybe a couple $100 a year, maybe. I don't even know what it is. Do y'all know what QuickBooks is a year? Online
I just do
QuickBooks?
everything back in, to be honest. And
Yeah.
Put it in Excel.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what my piano is.
Yeah, you need to get that, because seriously, when my CPA, I switched CPAs about 4 years ago. And when she said, Leslie, if you put everything in there,
Yeah.
I can pull everything right before the quarter, and I can tell you what your quarterly payment needs to be. Just, you gotta be live on there for her to take your screen. She can't do it when you're not online. So you have to sit down for a few minutes and you have
Is
to
that a program she provided you?
No,
Or you
no.
Still signed up for it? Okay.
Yeah, no, she just has QuickBooks and she just takes my system and goes in. I give her my passwords and that's my password, and she tells me my quarterly payments, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So,
When I used to do that, it was wonderful because at the end of the year, I just printed it out, took it, handed it to the,
yeah,
Yeah, I know what you're
and then
talking
I
about.
quit doing it.
yeah. Well,
Mine's literally all-
anything else from anybody? Thank you all for
No, thank you.
your time, and I hope I didn't get too personal with some of the stuff, but
Good stuff.
it's all about being a business person.
Yeah.
So don't let it
That's one thing
bring you out.
Well, I think the best thing that you said, Leslie, is it's really about boundaries.
Mhm.
Because I mean, treating our business like a business, we're always thinking about, working harder, being more professional. And I think all that's good. I try to be that way. But those boundaries are super important, because as a new agent, it's very easy to chase after every single little deal and you don't miss it all. I remember putting a house under contract on Christmas Day. The kids were opening up gifts, and I'd run in and check it and take a picture, and I'd run back, and we were negotiating on this
Right.
with Richard Chapman. I'll never forget that.
Oh, man.
Right?
Oh,
And I thought, I don't think I'm gonna do that again. But it was, that's just what you end up doing as a new agent. You just go after stuff like that. And people, those need to realize that you set these boundaries early on.
Yeah,
And so there's a lot of things I struggle with, like as
Yeah.
far as wanting to take time, take time off or whatever. But I found with consistency, I hate to be in the office. I hate to feel like I'm working. I work this business so I can have freedom.
yeah.
But my established time blocking is
Mhm.
I just try not to start work before
Right.
11 o'clock.
Right.
That's my deal.
And you can do, your time blocking is different for everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, somebody might get the most done in the evenings and they're not a morning person. I'm a morning person. I'm up early. So my time blocking starts early, but in my calendar, it'll have what happens when I get up and what time Kennedy gets on the bus and where I'm at and, all of that.
One of the best things that I read, and I'm a morning person too. I like to get up early. I do not show property before 11, period, in the story, and I do not show property on Sundays. With rare exception. It's never panned out for me. But that what's that word? The Miracle Morning.
That's a good book. Yeah.
Okay, the Miracle Morning for Realtors. Have you read that one?
Yeah, no, just.
I like it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I was thinking it's gonna be the same thing, but it's just gonna throw in realty. I like this. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You know what, when I circled something on a note that I forgot to tell y'all, which it's not. What do you spend time doing on your computer sometimes with your emails? How many of you look at your emails and look at every single one before you do something, if you do that?
I try to lead as I go.
Let me challenge you first thing in the morning or last thing in the evening at some point during the day. Start out and unsubscribe to 10 emails. Unsubscribe to 10
Oh,
emails.
that's nice.
The next day, well, deleting them is not the same thing.
Yeah.
Unsubscribe to 10. Then the next day, if there's new ones, unsubscribe to those. And if you'll do that every day, you'll be surprised how few important emails, because we're all like, oh, I don't want to unsubscribe, because one time in 19, he gave me a good something. No, he didn't because it's too long ago. So, they had a good quote one time. Well, yeah, but how many times have you looked at their website since they gave you that one quote? Probably never again. So try to unsubscribe. Delete is fine first thing, but at some point go over to your delete box and unsubscribe to people.
That's a good idea.
So I got that in a
I will tell you something.
webinar I sat in on the other day.
Something else I do. If it's somebody I want to communicate with, but it's not business, I give them my Gmail address. If
Yeah.
I'm in a business and they want my email address,
yeah.
I give them a Hotmail one.
Yeah.
My Hotmail address is all junk.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
I have a junk mail too.
So that was my last bit of wisdom. So thank you.
you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
See ya.
Thank you, Leslie.
How many people's on there?
Thank you.
How many people's on there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There was more than 8 people in here.
Yeah, I'll sign it.
9, there was.
There's-
On both sides. Oh, is-
Yeah.
Okay, they're using both sides of the paper.
That doesn't include you. 17.
Write my name, Ashton.
Will you write and then including the one thing we have to want to-
Write Anna's name.
Including people on the chat.
It's a book.
Okay, okay, so I'm gonna pick a number between 1 and 20.
10.
Here's number 10.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna go this way.
that's all right.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Let me check it, I'll let you know.
Okay. Well, we want his name, Sean. Put his name on there, and then, Seth, pick a number between 1 and 20,
Not 10.
not 10.
14.
2, 3, 4, 14, 11, 12, 13, 14, Seth Stevens.
And something
That's
that
weird.
I found out about this book. This book, if you bought it for your clients, it's really, really a cool thing because, people like anything. Oh, you got a book, yeah. They probably won't throw it away because it's not a piece of paper or a postcard or whatever. They'll probably, so if you do give it to a client, write something in front about their house. It was good working with you, whatever. Another thing is I skimmed this and learned things I didn't know about everything. Yeah. Where do you think I got all these life lessons? I'm just kidding. But I mean, it's a really good. We have them. No, we had them here. Who got these books? I got 10 of them.
I think they ordered, but he didn't give them to her.
And we have some. No, you had to purchase them.
Okay, I didn't know. Yeah. We just like, this is insurance. I never knew when the insurance.
Yeah. Yeah.
We just did like.
Yeah. But it's a real good book. And
I think that'd be a.
so who got the other one? Oh, would you make sure Josh gets it?
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming.
All right, yeah.
Thank
that's
you,
not what
Leslie.
you have to post on here.
I think it's a smart idea. I think I'm gonna read.
There you go.
Can you stand in the chair?
Well, I mean, I can go up here. He gave me the sort of church.
Yeah.
Man,